I was standing in the living room when my brother walked in with his wife and said, "You need to pack your things and be out by the end of the month. This house belongs to me now." His wife smiled. "We're being generous giving you that much time." That's when I realized my own brother was trying to erase me from our family home. "My name's Emma. I'm 29 years old. This house? It's a small 2-story place in a quiet neighborhood. Nothing fancy. My parents worked hard their whole lives, but we were never wealthy. I have an older brother, Derek. He's 35. After college, he moved to another state, got married, started his own life. He rarely visited, always had excuses: work, kids, distance. 5 years ago, our mother got sick. Our father had already passed years before. So I moved back home. I became her full-time caregiver while working remotely as a bookkeeper. I took care of her, cooked her meals, took her to appointments, held her hand when she was scared. Derek visited twice in those 5 years. Twice. When Mom passed 6 months ago, I stayed in the house. It was the only home I'd ever known. I'd been maintaining it, paying the utilities, handling repairs. I wasn't flashy. I didn't have a big career or a fancy life. But I had something my brother didn't. I actually showed up when it mattered. Has your family ever treated you like this? Share your story below. Because what happened next showed me just how far some people will go to take what isn't theirs. 2 weeks after the funeral, Derek called. He said he was coming to settle things. I assumed he meant going through Mom's belongings, organizing paperwork. Normal stuff. He showed up with Jenna, his wife, and immediately started measuring rooms, taking photos with his phone. I walked into the dining room. "What are you doing?" Derek didn't even look up. "We're planning the renovations. Jenna and I are moving in." I froze. "What do you mean moving in? I live here." He turned to me, voice flat. "Mom's gone. The house goes to me as the oldest. You've been living here rent-free long enough." I tried to explain. "I stayed to take care of Mom. I kept the house running. I paid the bills." Jenna cut me off. "That was your choice. Derek's the executor. He has the authority here." Derek pulled a folder from his bag, opened it, showed me a photocopy of what he claimed was our mother's will. "She left the house to both of us," he said, "but I'm buying you out. Here's my offer." He slid a piece of paper across the table. $15,000. The house was worth at least $200,000. I stared at the number. "That's insulting." Derek's voice went cold. "It's more than fair. You haven't contributed anything. Take it or leave it, but either way, you're moving out." I felt the floor drop out from under me. That night, I was in my room when I heard Derek on the phone in the hallway. "She'll take the money," he said. "She doesn't have a choice. I've got the will, and she's too broke to fight me." That's when I realized he wasn't just claiming the house. He was trying to cheat me out of it entirely. A week later, Derek invited the entire extended family over to celebrate Mom's memory at the house. He didn't tell me until that morning. I came downstairs to find aunts, uncles, cousins packed into the living room. Derek was hosting, like he owned the place. My Aunt Linda spotted me. "Emma, are you excited to have Derek and Jenna taking over? It'll be nice to have family back in the house." I blinked. "I've been here the whole time." Derek's voice boomed across the room. "Emma's been staying here temporarily while she figures out her next steps." Everyone nodded. Sympathetic looks, like I was some charity case. When Derek made a toast to Mom, he didn't mention me once. Not once. Later, my uncle pulled me aside. "So what have you been doing all this time?" Before I could answer, Derek jumped in. "She's been living off Mom's Social Security and savings. I'm trying to help her get back on her feet." My jaw dropped. I'd worked the entire time. I'd paid my share. Jenna smiled sweetly. It's hard when you don't have direction. We're just trying to be supportive. A few cousins exchanged glances. I felt my face burn. Later, I was in the kitchen when I heard Derek talking to my uncle in the next room. Honestly, she took advantage of Mom being sick, Derek said. I'm being generous, even offering her anything. I gripped the counter. My hands shook. A few days later, Derek cornered me in the hallway. He handed me a stack of legal papers. Sign this, he said. It's a quitclaim deed. You give up your rights to the house, I give you the 15 grand, and we're done. I looked at the papers. I'm not signing anything until I talk to a lawyer. Derek's face twisted. A lawyer? With what money? You're broke, Emma. Stop being stubborn and just sign. Jenna appeared behind him. We're being more than fair. Most people would have kicked you out already. Derek jabbed a finger at the papers. You have 3 days. I felt trapped, cornered, like I was losing everything. But something inside me snapped. I was done being pushed around. Here's what Derek didn't know. What he couldn't have known. Months before Mom passed, I noticed she was getting confused, forgetting conversations, repeating herself. I encouraged her to meet with an estate attorney to make sure everything was in order. She agreed, and I went with her. The attorney's name was Mr. Callahan. He drafted a will, a real one, signed and notarized. And I had the original, not Derek. What Derek had been waving around? That was an old draft. From years ago, before I even moved back. The real will left the house equally to both of us, but with one stipulation. Whoever lived in and maintained the property would have first right of refusal to buy out the other. That was me. For 5 years, I'd been paying utilities, property taxes, repairs, everything, out of my own pocket. And I'd kept every receipt, every bank record, every proof of payment. Derek hadn't contributed a single dollar, not to the house, not to Mom's care. Nothing. I'd already contacted Mr. Callahan. He'd confirmed it. Derek's copy was outdated, invalid. I had the legal standing, and the evidence to prove it. I met with Mr. Callahan at his office. He reviewed everything. The real will, my receipts, the bank records. Your brother's bluffing, he said, and if he tries to force you out, we can countersue for fraud. I felt a weight lift, but I was still scared. Meanwhile, Derek got more aggressive. He started packing up Mom's things, without asking me. He threw out family photos I'd wanted to keep, changed the locks on one of the storage sheds, told the neighbors he and Jenna were moving in next month, started making renovation plans. He was arrogant, convinced he'd won. One night, I heard him on the phone again. She's not going to fight, he said. She doesn't have the guts or the money. That was my breaking point. I called Derek, told him I wanted to discuss terms, let him think I was giving in. He showed up the next day with Jenna and that quitclaim deed, ready to be signed. We sat in the living room, just the 3 of us. Derek pushed the deed across the coffee table, handed me a pen. Glad you're finally being smart about this, he said. Sign here, and we're done. I stayed calm. I'm not signing. He sighed, irritated. Emma, we've been through this. I cut him off. No. You've been through this. You've been lying to me, to the family, and to yourself. Jenna's eyes narrowed. Excuse me? I pulled a folder from my bag, opened it. This is the real will, I said. The one Mom signed 2 years ago with her estate attorney. Not the outdated draft you've been waving around. Derek's face went pale. I slid the document across the table. It says, the house goes to both of us equally, but whoever lived in and maintained it has first right to buy the other out. I looked him in the eye. That's me, Derek stammered. That's not... I have the will... You have an old copy, I said, from before I moved back. This one is signed, notarized, and filed with Mr. Callahan. I pulled out more papers, receipts, bank statements, 5 years' worth. Here's every receipt for property taxes I paid, every utility bill, every repair. You contributed nothing. Derek tried to recover. I was sending Mom money. I cut him off. Cold. Steady. No, you weren't. I have her bank records. I was her caretaker and power of attorney. I know exactly what came in and what went out. Silence. Jenna leaned forward, defensive. You can't just... I already spoke to the estate attorney, I said. If you keep pushing this, I'll file a counterclaim for fraud and harassment. You'll get nothing. Derek's face twisted. Anger. Panic. You're really going to do this? He said. To your own brother? I stood. You tried to steal my home. You lied to family. You erased everything I did for Mom. I looked down at him. So yeah, I'm doing this. I picked up my folder. I'll buy you out. Fair market value for your half, minus what I've already paid in. Or we sell and split it equally. Your choice. I paused at the doorway, but I'm not going anywhere. Derek stared at the documents on the table, defeated. You thought I'd just roll over? I said. But I'm not the little sister you left behind anymore. I walked out, left them sitting there in silence. Days later, Derek agreed to let me buy him out. He tried to save face, told extended family it was a mutual decision. But word got out. Mr. Callahan's assistant was friends with one of my cousins. The family learned the truth, that Derek had tried to cheat me with a fake will. Aunt Linda called to apologize, said she was sorry for assuming Derek was in the right. I was gracious, but I kept my distance. Derek and Jenna moved back to their state. I heard through family that they were struggling financially, that the house money didn't go far. I stayed in the family home, repainted Mom's room, turned it into an office, kept the rest of the house full of memories, but made it my own. One night, I was sitting on the porch when my phone buzzed. A text from Derek. You in? I stared at it for a long moment. Then I put my phone down. I didn't reply. I realized I didn't need his acknowledgement. For once, their silence didn't hurt me. It freed me. I'd fought for what was mine, and I won on my own terms. If you've ever had to stand up to family betrayal, hit subscribe and tell me your story. Have you ever been underestimated by someone who thought you wouldn't fight back? Drop a comment below and let me know where you're watching from. I read every single one, and if this story gave you the courage to stand your ground, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next one.